Hello and good evening. Today's video is going to be a movie review, and it's going to be on the very first Hunger Games movie. I'm sure many of you are aware, even if you've never seen the movies or read the books, that the second film came out on DVD. And I've already reviewed the second film, so I'm going back and doing the first one. Really quickly, let me grab mine. Oh. Have to be careful, I don't want to drop anything. Here it is. It's at the same image you see on that poster. I have the 2-disc, sorry, and a digital copy one, and there's all the bonus features. It's been a while since I've seen the bonus features, so I'm just gonna review the movie itself. Let's get started. When it was announced that they were turning the Hunger Games into a movie, I was pretty excited, and then I learned something pretty bad. And that was that I heard a rumor going around that for the casting of the three main leads, Katniss, Gale, and Peeta, that they were for white only. So if you were like Hispanic or something, you couldn't audition for Katniss, for example. Which I think is a horrible thing to do. I can't believe that the studio did that. I think it's a horrible thing. If it was just a rumor and, Jennifer Lawrence beat out, all kinds of different actresses that were of other races or, and she was the best, then that's fine. And if it was just a rumor, then I'm cool with that. That makes me actually feel a lot better. But when I heard that, it really, really, made my expectations for the movie just go down. I wasn't excited anymore, and the only reason I ended up seeing the movie was because one of my little sister's friends wanted to see it, and so I took her. But I ended up coming out enjoying the movie, this first one, and I'll explain why. The first one, I didn't particularly care for. However, I will say this, as a book-to-film adaptation compared to the very first Twilight film, I think it did a better job having as many scenes in the book, and also I think it did a better job with the timeline as well, whereas I feel like there were a lot of scenes missing in the first Twilight movie, and also the timeline was kind of screwy as well. It wasn't the same timeline as it was in the book, but I will say this. So let's get into what I felt the first film did that I wish, changes from the book and stuff like that I wish weren't there, and I wish there was stuff from the book in the movie. Let's get started with this image right here. That is the Mockingjay pin, and in the book, Katniss receives it from a friend named Madge. Well, that friend does not exist in the movies. Why? Probably for budget reasons. I know that the first Hunger Games did not have a very big budget, which could have been a factor, or because the writers felt she wasn't an important character. Now, she's not an important character in the book, I know this. I mean, if they had to choose between another character and her, for example, maybe if they had to choose between one of the tributes or something, then the tribute would be more important. But I liked Madge, and I kind of wish she was still in the movie. It's the one change, however, I'm not too mad about. I still wish it was there. Of course, I wish every scene in the book was in the movie, but that doesn't happen. But I like, the story behind how Madge came about the pin, and how her mom, and Katniss's mom were connected together, and that that the pin belonged to her mother's twin sister, and they were best friends with Katniss's mom, and I really liked that story. I thought it was very touching. And I like how she, gave it to Katniss as a little way to honor her aunt and, things like that. You don't find out though until the second book, though, I believe. So, but it was a change that does affect, obviously, the second and third films, which is terrible. Another thing I like about Madge is that she's another friend of Katniss, and if you've only seen the movies, you notice, well, Katniss only has one friend in its Gale, and in the book she actually has another friend, because Madge in the book wanted to just sit with Katniss, and that's kind of how their friendship started. Was she just started sitting with Katniss and went on from there. So I would have liked to have Katniss be, seen having more friends than just Gale. Another change that, let's see, I really, really didn't like. This was the one change I wish they didn't do, and that was what happened after Rue died. Instead of how in the book she is sent a piece of their local bread from District 11, you see them rebelling, and that to me is a big change. For one thing, people don't start rebelling against the districts until Katniss pulls out the berries. That's when President Snow was like, that berries stunt, made the districts believe they can start rebelling. It wasn't Rue's death, and I think that was a really, really big mistake. Luckily, it wasn't one that really affected the second movie, because they still kept with the berries, but it was a bit odd to see them rebelling already prior to her having the berries. And I also think it was a lot sweeter when they gave her the bread, sorry, not bed, bread, because it showed that they appreciated what she did for Rue. Those are two changes. Another one is Peeta, whose leg was perfectly fine by the end of the movie, and in the book, his leg is so badly injured, and it really affects him because he walks with a limp now. And there are times when hopefully I'm remembering this correctly, where he walks with a cane. I think I mentioned this in the Catching Fire review, but I'm gonna do it again. It really was an important development in his character, I feel, because it was something that limited him, and it made him rely more on Katniss, and it was just something that I think was important to his character. That's just my opinion. If you disagree, that's okay. I wish it was still on there. I think they did it because of the actor. They didn't want to limit the actor's stunt work, probably. I think that was the big reason. Moving on to... But overall, actually, that's all the major changes I had some issues with. Some of them were, getting to see how the games are run in, I'm gonna call it like the game room, where they control what happens in the arena. I think those were pretty cool scenes, actually. I like how the computer, or whatever you want to call it, looks, and how they run the games. Sorry, I had to put the DVD away. And then another one was the conversations with President Snow. Those were really good. I like the insight into President Snow. And I did, enjoy the ending where it ended on Snow. I thought that was really interesting. A nice cliffhanger, in my opinion, to the next movie. That, oh, he's watching Katniss. And I really liked that. So overall, I think the movie was pretty good as an adaptation. It could have been better. Some of the parts that I guess were lackluster was mainly due to the acting and the directing, in my opinion. And I'm gonna get to that really quickly. Let's talk about the music, the props and costumes and makeup. They were all pretty good. I do think that they were a lot better in the second film, but for the budget they had, I think the costumes and makeup were really good. My favorite being Katniss's dress during her interview. And let's see. The makeup was pretty good. I do think the makeup was a nicer balance in the second film. It wasn't too outrageous like it was in the first film. I think the sets look really good. I really like the look of District 12. I do like the way the Capitol looks. My only thing that I didn't care for was the arena itself. Obviously, because of budget reasons, it had to be that way. But I wish there was a way to find out how to keep in budget but have an amazing arena. The music was pretty good. I don't care for the songs at the end of the movie that play during the credits. I didn't find them very good. I didn't care for them. The effects were horrible, though. I will say this. I think the dogs towards the end, the mutated dogs were terrible. Very cheap looking. They, obviously again, budget reasons were probably the main factor, but they could have done better or something because those things look terrible. And the design itself is terrible as well. Not just the effect, but the design of the creature was terrible. It's horrible. Let's see. But there wasn't a lot of effects, though. Any other effects were okay, I guess. Given the budget reason. I mean, the budget, yeah. But they had... Let's see. I think, yeah. The props are actually really good. The props were amazing, I think. The one thing I would give like 100% on are the props. Those were really great. Let's see. Moving on to the big ones, acting and directing. In terms of the acting, I'd say part of the cast was excellent. Being Jennifer Lawrence, who you see in the picture right there. Let's see. Okay, I have a couple of pictures of the other actors, but Jennifer Lawrence was amazing. She really showed her acting chops, in my opinion. She was a perfect Katniss. I did mention that, in the beginning, how they said whites only. Jennifer Lawrence deserved this part. She is an amazing actress, and she's fantastic, and she really nails it. So, I do think she deserved it. So, I just think the studio is the one at fault, not her, if that is the case. But she was a highlight for me. I thought, oh, they really casted Katniss well. And then, let's see, the other really standouts are Woody Harrelson as Haymitch, if you can see him there. He was funny, and he acted very well as a great actor. He nailed the part too. I felt he got everything down. Oh, I'm running out of time. I'm going to move on. Elizabeth Banks says... Oh my god, I'm blanking on her name. Well, she was really good. I'm totally blanking on her name. But she was really good, and, Peter Sutherland. No, Donald Sutherland. It's Donald Sutherland as President Snow was excellent. And the little girl who plays Rue and the little girl that plays Katniss' sister are really, really good as well. I don't know their names. And of course, I actually enjoyed Lenny Kravitz in this one as Cinna. So those are all actors that really nailed their role. And the two that I felt, all the other people, the tributes, were kind of subpar. And of course, Gale and Peeta weren't as good in this movie as I thought they could have been. Not Gale's fault because he's not in the movie that much, but what are you going to do? I think Josh Hutcherson was a lot better in the second film. So he improved, which is good. Really quickly, I'm glad they got Gary Ross as not the director on the second one. I feel he made a lot of shaky camera movements like this that I think were distracting overall to the film. So he made a lot of choices, a lot of camera movements between him and his cameraman that I felt were bad. But overall, I'd give this a B, and it's a good film, and I think you should check it out. Bye!